Video tutorial, we are going to be drawing this object with arcs. So you notice down here in the directions, I uploaded a video with arcs, and I also uploaded a video using circles and trim. So there's multiple different ways you could do this. You see that this is very symmetrical from this corner to this corner, from this whole entire top to this whole entire bottom. So what we're going to be focusing on is drawing just this portion up here, and then mirroring it over to here, mirroring all of that stuff down to here. So some people try to draw this all at once with massive circles. You can do this tons of different ways. I'm going to be doing it with mirror so you get used to that, but I'll be focusing on arcs in this video, and another video I'll do it with circles and trimming. So I'm going to pull this to my other screen, and in SolidWorks we're going to open a new part. And we want to make sure that our units are in inches. Go up to the Sketch tab, select Sketch and Front Plane. And I want to actually make a construction line. So I'm going to get my line, construction, and I'm going to start by starting way out here to the left of my origin. So notice it projected over. Don't start down here. Start straight across from your origin, right back to it, click on your origin, and right up to the top. Okay, then you can hit escape. So that just saved me some time because it's directly straight up and down like that. And what I'm going to be doing is drawing arcs. So first, let's put our circles in place where they need to be. So we want to be on the circle tool. And I'm not going to use the end point of my construction line. I'm going to just move it in a little bit, because that end point will help us have a starting and stopping spot for our arc. Okay, so I'm going to move in here, just draw a circle on my construction line, one up at the top as well. And we can put that big one right here in the middle, mine as well. Okay, let's go to our dimension tool, and we can dimension this inside circle. So these little tiny ones, those are both 0.75. You notice in your drawing here, our drawing activity says 4x 0.75. So that would be, you see this 4 times and it's 0.75. Okay, don't forget, it's not multiplying here. It's saying you're seeing this same size 4 times. So you can just dimension it or set them to equal. Does not matter. Now, it also shows that from this one small circle all the way over to this other small circle is 7.5. So if we want this to be equal, so from this side to here and this side to here, we want it to be equal, then we're basically saying from here to our origin is 7.5 divided by 2. And for our big circle, from there to there, it's 3.38 divided by 2. So if you're wondering where I'm getting these random measurements from that are popping up on my screen, that's where. So I'm going to click on my small circle and my origin, move my mouse down here and click, and I'm going to type in 7.5, readjust this so you can see it better, 7.5/2. So you might be able to do that mentally in your head, but SolidWorks also likes to figure out the math for us. So we can do that same thing for the big circle. So the big circle to our origin, and that is 3.38/2. And I noticed here that I never adjusted the size of my big circle, or never dimensioned that. So you can go ahead and dimension that, and that big circle actually has a measurement of 2.75. Okay. So this is the distance away from the origin for both of these. It needs a distance away for this top one. And if we go from our origin all the way up to that circle, you can see there in the picture on the far left side, it says 3.5 divided by 2 is what we need. Okay. So that kind of placed this. Now's the fun part. We're going to be drawing a whole bunch of arcs around here. So a whole bunch of little squiggly arcs, back and forth, back and forth. So go ahead and get your center point arc first. Click in the center of this little circle. Move your mouse out to the left. Click. and we want a circle or an arc that looks like this. Okay, so you can go ahead and click and move your mouse up here to this other small circle, and we want straight up at this construction line and somewhere over to here. So you don't know how far over yet. It just needs to be something like that. We're also going to make one off of the big circle, so somewhere out here. And if it glitches, just move your mouse around a couple times, as you can kind of see I'm doing. So we want an arc like that. And that was off of the big circle. So the center point is down here. Then we can go ahead and get our tangent arc, and we'll select the end point of one of these, move your mouse up to the other one, and notice it didn't make it tangent here, so that's why this little box popped up. We want to make it tangent though. We can do the same thing up here with our tangent arc. So we'll click there and move our mouse around, make them both tangent. Now, if your little box like I had doesn't pop up, you can always come in here, hold in Shift, click both of these, and set it to tangent on the left. It's the same thing. It really doesn't matter where you do it from. But now we have that little squiggly outside. So let's go ahead and dimension this. So this out here, starting on our left, that has a radius of 1. You can see that dimension on the far right side of your activity. This little tiny piece here, that tangent, that has a radius of 0.5. This next big arc has a radius of 2. The next tangent piece is actually 1.12. And the one all the way up at the top is the same thing, 1.12. So that should make all of these lines black and fully defined. So from here, we can go ahead and go up to the Mirror Entities tool. And this is asking us what entities do we want to mirror. So we'll select the whole way up this little squiggle line, all of these arcs. And since we're going to be mirroring across this way first to our right, we do want this small circle and this big circle. I do not want the circle up at the top. Okay. Now it says mirror about, so let's click in that box to have that selected. Now it knows that we're no longer selecting an entity, we're selecting what we want to mirror off of. So that's going to be this vertical construction line. You can see it projects it in yellow. So we'll hit the green check. It drew that whole other side, and you can also see it starts to get crazy with all of our relations here. Those are all the mirrored relations. They're the symmetrical ones. So try to look past those for right now. We're going to get the mirror entities again, and this time we want the entire top squiggle line, or the outside, whatever you want to call it. So all of those arcs, don't forget any. We also want this tiny circle up at the top. So we don't want any of these circles through the middle, just the one up at the top. The mirror about, which don't forget to click in there, is the horizontal construction line that you drew. And it projects the whole bottom. Then you can hit the green check, and now it's fully defined. Now the nice thing is with mirroring, if you ever change something on this first portion that we drew, it would automatically change it with all the rest. So go over to your Features tab, hit Extrude Boss Base. This shows that it has a material thickness of 0.35, and it says it is a negative Z. So that means you are going to send this backwards. Okay, make sure your arrow is pointing backwards. I know it's hard to see because of all the relations, so you might want to zoom in. It needs to be facing backwards. Green check, and change your material to 1350 alloy. So that is going to be in the Edit Materials section. And 1350 alloy is not going to be found in the steel. It's actually going to be found in the aluminum folder. So notice I scrolled down there and I found 1350 alloy. You can hit Apply and Close. Then you can go to the Evaluate tab in Mass Properties. And we should get a mass of 0.66 with a negative 0.17 Z. So if you got that, you can go ahead and save this as the assignment number and name. If you didn't get that, go back in, edit your sketch, continue to problem solve until you have this correct and complete. and that is how to draw this with arcs and mirrors.